What's up, everybody? Today we have a special guest. It's Jacob Smith, DUPR's Director of Collegiate Pickleball. There's so much happening in college pickleball, so there's no one better to help us out than Jacob. It's great to have you on the episode.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Tyler.
Dude, my pleasure. Can't wait to get into just everything that is in college pickleball. This is a 10-minute talk. Are you ready to do this?
Yes.
Perfect. So tell us about DUPR's, it's the start of 2024. Tell us about DUPR's plans for this year.
Yeah, this year, it's bigger and better than last year. All the regionals that we did in 2023 are coming back. We're having more teams, more courts, and we're also introducing a way for schools to play dual matches against each other, and also a way for them to run their own tournaments, campus regionals that still fall under the DUPR Collegiate Pickleball umbrella, and that can still feed into the national championship at the end of the year.
Fantastic. So bigger and better. Gotta love that. Tell me more about these campus competitions and how that feeds into nationals.
Yeah. Last year, a lot of schools were introduced to each other at our tournaments. And what we've seen in 2024 is a lot of them running their own tournaments and being very successful at it. And we wanted to find a way to support them as these schools ran their own tournaments. And so if a school does a campus regional, they use the same format that we use at all of our other tournaments. But they run it themselves, and then the winner of the tournament gets a bid to go to nationals. We're giving out 48 bids to nationals this year, and 16 of those are going to come from campus regionals. So these school-run tournaments are going to contribute, for a third of the teams represented at nationals.
Did you say 48?
48 schools. So we had 36 schools show up last year, and then 48 is the number we're working with for this year.
When you're telling me 48, I'm immediately thinking of NCAA March Madness, just getting that number higher.
Yeah. We're getting closer and closer to that. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever do that big, 68 team single elimination. I don't think the schools would like it very much to travel and just get eliminated day one. But yeah, I could see us, at least reaching that same school count. Maybe not the same format, but yeah.
That's pretty spectacular. So what was the decision, or how did the decision come about to have 48 teams this year?
Yeah, for us, it's just a natural progression. More and more schools each year. The first year we had our national championship, 2022, 16 schools represented. Then last year, 36, and so 48. It's continuing on that. It's a number divisible by 6. We like doing groups of 6. You play the 5 other teams. That's a good amount of games to get in. We are aware of about 150 schools in total that have some sort of pickleball club on campus. And so to get about a third of them to nationals, we think is very, very doable, and will make for a great tournament.
That's fantastic. And the competition is just getting better and better, which probably just fuels the game more. Can you tell me, what's your perspective on the competition increasing over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's very easy to see that in collegiate pickleball. The players are getting, just way better. One really good stat we like to use is at our first national championship in 2022, there was not a single player that had a DUPR over 5. Everyone was 4 and under. And that also includes, our star player, Colin Schick. Sure. And coming into 2023, that national championship, there was actually 17 players that had a DUPR of 5.0 or better. And so, I think that shows, there's teams averaging 5.0 or better. So, they're getting better all the time. It makes for better entertainment. I like to think, that, trying to beat your college rival, contributes at least a little bit towards wanting to get better.
Yeah, I would say so. So with all of this improvement from the players and a team's perspective, I know it's been thrown out there, this whole NCAA sport thing. What's DUPR's perspective on pickleball eventually going that NCAA route? And is DUPR's route a better way to go?
Yeah, that's what everyone is familiar with, is the NCAA, the governing body of college sports. It just seems natural if there's a new college sport coming up that it should fall under the NCAA. And, we're open to everything. I'm not going to close anything off, but operating outside the NCAA offers a lot of flexibility and opportunities for us that, we wouldn't naturally get. And we're kind of waiting to see what happens, because there's a lot of movement with the conferences. There's still a lot of decisions being made with NIL deals. I mean, just to give you an example, for NC State, my home school, our football team is going to be traveling to UC Berkeley to play, and that's an interconference game because they're both in the ACC. It would be a shorter plane trip for NC State to fly to Greenland than to fly to UC Berkeley. So as far as the conferences making geographical sense, it's not that way anymore. And so I don't know, that hurts, the participation and the engagement of players.
Does that hurt the NCAA when it comes to pickleball, or is that kind of what you're alluding to there?
Yeah. I mean, it's just not going to help growth. Growth happens very centralized, localized little pockets across the country. And, as these teams get bigger, as they have bigger budgets, you can afford to travel in a wider area, but that's just not the case now. I mean, a lot of people really like the NCAA because of the scholarship opportunities they provide. The money is there, provides a pathway for college kids. And what we've seen already is that you can have scholarships outside of the NCAA. We have two schools already, Utah Tech and Drury University. Utah Tech as a club sport and Drury University as a non-NCAA athletic program, both giving out scholarships. And so I think that's the pathway we're trying to pursue now.
Sure. And what is your vision, or what is your understanding on when the NCAA will for sure get involved? Is there a dollar amount or a popularity metric to go by where you guys are thinking, by that time the NCAA has no choice but to engage in talks?
Yeah, I don't know exactly when that tipping point will be for us. We're just trying to grow it as big as possible and see where it's going to take us. If I had to bet, I would say maybe when pickleball becomes the largest club sport at most of these campuses, because, it's already, we know the numbers, an incredibly high participated, sport in America. And so I think once that is also reflected at the club sport status, where schools are we're having hundreds and hundreds of players and there's no, athletic representation, I think that's when it's going to start to click.
Cool. Okay. Interesting. Next one for you. Talk about the stars and the standout programs we have to look forward to as we get into 2024.
Yeah, there's a lot of great collegiate programs on the rise for us. We saw a lot of good ones at nationals last year. As far as, schools on the rise, I would say Indiana, I know, is doing a lot with their players and taking the competition very seriously. Also want to shout out University of Texas Austin, with Jack Monroe leading the charge there. I expect them to be a very prominent figure coming into 2024.
How much is he leading the charge though? Because I've seen him not enter a couple of these tournaments, like the APP one in January. Is he full set on being a college athlete, or is he, in between pro and college?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for him. We had him at our Texas regional last year, and he was a great competitor there, and he's really just a great representation of the sport.
Sure,
and he's doing a lot for us. So no, I'm sure he'll be at college events later in the year. That's something that we're working towards, is trying to build college as a pathway to pro.
Sure.
And so with him already playing in professional tournaments and being one of the best players in the scene, he's kind of already achieved that.
Sure, fair enough. Right on. And then here's a question from Lorelei from UVA. She asked, how does DUPR plan to stay on top with APP and some other organizations kind of coming into the space?
Lorelei, is national champion with UVA, and so they're definitely on top right now. We know there's going to be competitors that want to come into the college space. I take it as a compliment. It means that we're doing a good enough job. We're making collegiate pickleball look so much fun that these other companies want to get in on the action. So I expect it to continue. For us, it's about staying consistent with the product and services we've provided, and really just continue to build a competitive structure. That's our focus for 2024, is to have everything a college does feed into the same system where you're playing a dual match, your campus regionals against local schools and the DUPR run tournaments all use the same system, all use the same format. It's the same format that we've used the entire time. Our Illinois Super Regional is this weekend, and it's the same format that we used in our very first tournament back in 2022. And this is our 15th team event that we've run. And so just, I think, having that consistent format and just trying to build out the scene as a whole. That's our vision to continue to grow and stay on top.
And Logan and Avery from UT told me that the one Utah Tech, that the thing that they liked, DUPR is a very well-run organization. They liked almost everything from DUPR, but the one thing they said that the last tournament did that maybe you guys can improve on was creating an atmosphere that was like, I don't know, maybe closer or something like that. Have you heard that critique, or is there anything you guys are doing to create an even tighter, closer atmosphere?
Yeah. Our nationals last year was at the Peachtree Corners Lifetime, incredible facility. Yeah, and the courts were a little bit spread out just because of how large and great of a facility it was. This year, what we're doing is a lot of our venues are indoors. And so that's going to definitely add to the noise factor. And that's something that we really like to tap into with the collegiate environment, is trying to bring up the noise, bring up the rowdiness, get these kids showing some emotion and, really bringing out the energy there. And so I think that'll be reflected in our events this year. All of our events that we have scheduled for this spring semester are at indoor facilities.
Cool. I'm excited for that. Any last words?
I just want to say, stay tuned for what DUPR is doing in 2024 for Collegiate Pickleball. We're going to be keeping track of the best schools in the nation. We have 10 of our own events lined up. Plus, I mentioned, all the schools are running their own campus regionals. And it is going to be great.
Awesome. That's Jacob Smith, everyone.